back in the 90s still, the 80s, the stand-up scene, and just the beginning of the 90s, I think, people came from all kinds of different backgrounds and were doing comedy, and it's...
Absolutely,
and you're a real case of that, I think. You're someone who's really lived a life before you came to comedy, and whilst you've been in comedy as well, it has to be said. And so many things happen to you. I don't know. I mean, you are quite an affable guy, right? I think you're quite approachable.
I think so, yeah. I'm quite approachable, sort of normal bloke, but also I've killed people if need be.
Yeah.
The government paid me for it. I was in the army.
Yeah.
So there has been, there's been sort of strange, but... So, I have it, but you're right, absolutely. I fell into comedy. I didn't plan it. I was backpacking around the world, and I don't know if you know this story, but I lost my passport in Canada. Yeah. And I left it in a photocopier, actually. I was working on yachts at the time, delivering yachts. And I left it in a photocopier. Somebody said to me, get a coloured photocopy of your passport, so if you lose it... So, of course, I'm queuing up in the post office in Vancouver in Canada, and I've got a big backpack on, and I've got a job lined up going from Seattle to Honolulu, working on yachts, And I said, I need to post this home. She said, what is this, the original or the photocopy? I went, I realised I'd left the original in the photocopier over the road. So I ran over back to this Kinko's, I think they called it, and I said, has anyone seen anyone take my photocopy of passport out of... They said, well, loads of people have been here since. So I ran the streets, about 20 minutes, Oh, does anyone look like they've nicked my passport? No, they don't. So I just, fuck it. So I went and got drunk, and it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
I had $8 in the whole world, and I just thought, these things happen, don't they? So just get drunk and worry about it later.
Yeah.
And I met this bloke in a bar called Den LaBelle, he's a French-Canadian, and I was sat literally in this bar, and I don't know if you've ever done this, Richard, but you're trying to drink and you suddenly laugh at your own... and bloke said, you're right. I said, oh, no. Well, I've just lost everything. What I haven't added to the story, which I should do, is that when I went back to the post office, because I'd said to this bloke behind me, he's got a backpack on as well, and I said, look after my bag, mate. I've lost my passport. When I come back, where's my bag? They said, well, your mate took it. He's not my fucking mate. He's just a bloke with a backpack, So I basically had no possessions.
Yeah.
This Den LaBelle said to me, oh, that's such a funny story. You should do that in the comedy club. And I went, oh, right, yeah. Oh, so funny. And he said, honestly, because you get free beer. So I did it on the Monday night.
Yeah.
I did this thing, and Den LaBelle did it as well, and he went down quite well. He was, I think they call it a homunculoid. He wasn't quite a dwarf, but his body was a little bit strange. And he did this dance, right? And he told some jokes, and people laughed at him, and he hated it. Right. And I had the opposite. I went out there. I was just about to walk on stage, and my name's Nick Pearce, my real name, and I said, please welcome all the way from London. And I'm about to go on. He said, and by the way, not London, Ontario, not London. I'm going, but which time? I'm nearly pissing myself, And he carried on. I thought, get me on. So as he introduced me, I literally pissed myself. So I walked out on stage, and I was just to cover it. I sort of spilt my own drink. Went, oh, what a twat I am, And I didn't get any laughs at all. And somebody said, somebody shouted out, tell us a joke. Went, oh, fuck off! I'm learning stagecraft. And the guy, I don't know what I did, but I felt comfortable on stage. Much more comfortable on stage than I did on the street. So the guy said, well, look, if you come back next week, I'll pay you $20 for 20 minutes. And I went, right. So now I've got to write 20 minutes, and I did, and I turned professional 5 weeks later.
Amazing. It is, but it's true. But it's sort of how you lived your life. You were going from one thing to another. You kind of had one, you had the travel bug, right? And that's partly why that's why you joined the army, is it? Because you wanted to see the world?
I did, yeah. All I ever wanted to do was travel. So I had no idea of a career or, some sort of, what do you want to be? I don't know, a job that would allow me to travel. So I went for things like airline steward, and I didn't get the job. You know, I wasn't quite camp enough or whatever. I didn't fit in. You know, I went for. I wanted to work on the cruise ships. You know, I thought that'd be the life for me, and now I didn't get it. So I ended up joining the army because they guaranteed I would travel.
Yeah.
And I did. I was in 12 countries in the army, and you know, from my point of view, I got what I wanted. And I got a bit bored after about 4 or 5 years, thinking, oh, something must happen. It's all a bit fucking boring, you know, pretending to fight people in Denmark and Norway and all that. And then suddenly the Falklands happened, and I volunteered. You know, I rang my boss up and said, you know, this these invasions happened down in the Falkland Islands. I'd love to go to South America. Could you put me on the list, you know? And
Did you think the war was going to go that well?
No.
That it would go to Argentina? We'd taken Argentina?
No, I look, because I like travelling, I sort of knew where the Falklands was, you know, bottom end of South America. And I thought, do you know what? That's quite near Rio. what I thought would happen is, you know, and I didn't know when Rio would happen, but I just thought, well, what will happen is we're sailed down there, they'll all give up, obviously, because they can't beat the British Army, you know, in my head, you know. We're going to swamp them with people, and they give up, and then I'll get all the local women to be so grateful that we've liberated them, and then we'll have R&R and go off to Rio. That's what I thought would happen, you know.
Not quite what happened.
It's not what happened. No, it's not what happened, so... Yeah, so I ended up in the Falklands War, and I wasn't suited for it. You know, I'm not a natural soldier. You know, I'm thin as a rake, and I don't like short hair and being told what to do. So I sort of knew it wasn't for me. Yeah. But the reason that that I was in the situation I needed to join the army, I had a road accident. My legs were all buggered up. And I wanted to get fit again, so I thought, well, the army will do it for me. You know, I'll get fit, and then once they've got me fit, I'll get out the army and find the real job that will travel. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that how the army looked at it, Nick?
No, they didn't look like that. They looked at it very differently. It's almost like they felt I was committed to them.
Yeah.
So... I thought, no, you know, and you get the option, you see. When I was what they call an adult recruit, I was 19, you know. I was regarded as an adult. Right. So they said, here's the simple rules. You know, if you want to get out, you've got to do between 12 and 18 weeks. You've got to do 12 weeks training. Between 12 and 18 weeks, you can buy yourself out. And I thought, well, that's what I'll do. I'll do 12 weeks, I'll get fit, or 15 weeks, 17 weeks, something, and then right at the end when I'm fit, I'll get out. And I suddenly realised, actually, I'm enjoying this. And then you get this thing called, they call it a dream sheet in the army. You're going to get posted somewhere. And you got to bear in mind, this is 1978, 79. There was no wars anywhere. So where are you going to get posted? Gibraltar, Hong Kong, Cyprus. Wherever I go, has got to be better than working in a factory in London or whatever, you know, and I'm not qualified at anything else. That'd do me. And, of course, my first posting was Belize, and it all lived up to the dreams, you know. I'm living in the Caribbean and working 4 days a week and then 4 days off. I thought that the army suited me for a long time. I didn't like soldiers because they're all cunts, but I liked... Oh, no, they're all thick, but I liked the sort of fitness side of it, and the fact that you could go. That they literally had like Land Rovers painted white, so they're not really Land Rovers. In Belize, you could borrow one for the weekend and drive to Mexico as civilians, and it had a civilian number plate, all painted white, and you know, it's like you could do that. I didn't drive, but I'd say to people, tell that Mexico sounds nice, doesn't it? Fancy doing that? It's only 400 miles, let's do it. Oh, come on, let's do it, right. And I would sit in the back getting drunk while they drive me there, you know. I was almost like the commander in chief of the army.